Greetings barbers, it's Max from Stag. Today I'm going to be going through a modern textured quiff. So what we're looking at doing today is, obviously the hair's a little bit longer in this one. We're going to be removing some of the length, building up a bit of shape using a point cutting technique. This is going to give us a very broken, sort of shattered effect. Not removing too much of the length, leaving a little bit of softness through the perimeter. And then when we work over to the back, we're going to use horizontal graduation to really build up a nice shape and just follow that through. So first and foremost, we're going to section the top off from the sides. Again, from recession back. I'm going to work through this channel first. So again, almost like layering, we're going to take a vertical section straight out from the head, but instead of standing static to it, I'm going to stand slightly behind. And again, we're going to put that line in, but instead of club cutting it, I'm just going to go through and point cut this length away. The difference being, I'm going to get a little bit of a softer look to it rather than it being a bit too, again, like Millicent or too sharp looking. Just a bit of softness, allowing the hair to move a little bit more. So the purpose of this is we're still taking length off, we're still layering the hair. We're kind of doing both at exactly the same time. But you're getting a bit more of a softer edge to it rather than it being club cut, everything very solid. It's just allowing the hair to move. It's not a technique you'd want to use all the time. So I find the best time to use this technique would be on, I guess, medium to sort of finer hair, nothing too thick. You can maybe use this on sort of wavier hair, curlier hair, perhaps, where you want a little bit more natural movement. So again, this is a technique, it's one of the first techniques you'll be doing. The main aim is to remove length, so obviously you'll be doing this at the beginning of a haircut. It's basically just stripping off any length, but also removing weight and layering at the same time. So it's kind of multitasking, really. Again, scissor-wise, you just want something quite sharp. I've got him with the DS+6. It's a bit of a favourite of mine. So as I said, the technique is creating texture. You wouldn't want to use this on someone who's particularly conservative, someone that wants to wear their hair a bit rough and ready, kind of get up and go. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to work on building up the graduation. So we're going to be going in at a horizontal angle rather than a vertical angle. If we're going horizontal, you basically build up more weight, so you create more of a shape, more of an angle. The reason we're doing this is so we can get this tucked in through to the nape a little bit better, and then obviously working through and having a little bit more length to play with here to give us that more textured kind of look to it. I've already layered it out a little bit just to keep my continuity and keep everything balanced, but we're probably going to go through and take that a wee bit shorter still. So the principle of this is just cleaning everything up, taking everything out at a 45-degree angle and cutting it in. The guideline again is travelling, so it's moving, so everything's directly out from the head. Nothing crazy, but just so you kind of get a bit more of a tapered look into the nape. Which will probably, once dry, will refine with a bit of scissor over comb. So what we've done is we've just graduated through the perimeter just to create a little bit of softness and build up a bit of shape, kind of rounding that out. I'll probably refine that a little bit more with scissor over comb at the end once dry, and then we'll probably go through and texturise it a little bit more still. I'm just going to move on to the top now. Again, we're going to build up the shape using point cutting still, so we're just going to kind of go through, take a big chunk of the length off, and then kind of work our way forward, leaving a little bit more length at the front, just to give us a little bit of room to manoeuvre, and then we'll just sort of go through and texturise. So rather than working vertically down the head, I'm going to follow the way that the crown is falling. So you're going to get a little bit more of a natural fall. Ever so slightly over directing back. Just making sure we don't take away too much length or weight, to give us a little bit of length to play around with around the crown. Just refine these edges a tiny bit more. So you always make sure, step away, have a look, move the hair, see how everything's falling. Can always go back, do a bit more refinement. Following our guides, elevating ever so slightly towards the front. Again, we're using the Dark Stag Barber Comb 3, just because it's got a little bit of extra length on it. Obviously remember to cross check. Balance looks good. Obviously you might want to look at your client's hairline and stuff. Got a pretty strong hairline here, but you might want to leave a little bit of extra length through these corners. It's already getting a lot more natural movement and texture. So what we're going to do now is blast that off, and then we'll go through, we'll scissor over comb through the perimeter, sharpen anything up that needs doing, and then we'll go through and texturise through the top. So we're just going to go through, just scissor over comb through this area, sharpen that up a little bit. We're going to play around with a little bit of the length through the front, show off a bit more of the texture, and then a bit more refinement around the face. So just going through, using the scissor over comb technique, just to kind of get that nape in a little bit more. So you've got quite thick hair, so you want to give a bit of shape through the back. I'm just going to point cut ever so slightly, a bit of softness. We don't want anything too perfect, nothing particularly harsh lined or anything at all. Yeah, as we can see, there's just a little bit of thickness through this area, so I'm just going to go through, controversially use the DS Plus thinners, just to take some of the corner out, just a bit of the bite out. It'll help create a little bit more of a textured look still. Just soften out any lines or anything we've got coming through. You don't want to go nuts with this kind of thickness of hair, because obviously you don't want the hair to jump up too much, so it's literally just refining the very edges. I personally wasn't one to use thinners much initially in my hair cutting career, but as I've grown and as I've been shown how to use them properly, I think they're quite a useful tool to have. Not one to rely on, but definitely one that you can use. Just for those very ends, so you just get a little bit more of a textured finish to it. And then we're going to move on to the top. So we've taken the bulk of our length off. Obviously we're going to go through and texturise a little bit more, therefore you will lose a little bit more length. I will always say initially, maybe leave it a touch longer than what you want to, because as you remove the weight you will, as I said, sort of remove a little bit more length. Right, so that's all looking quite textured. Everything's sort of sitting in where it needs to. So we're just going to move on over to the actual quiff itself. So we're just going to take horizontal sections across the head, and I'm just going to very finely, looking in the mirror, just have a little play around with length, texture, just sort of tailor it, personalise it to your client's face a little bit more. Again, move around the head from every angle. So just to recap what we've done today, we've gone for a modern textured quiff. We've built up a lot of strength using point cutting, which has helped in toe give us a little bit more texture while reducing the length. We've kind of taken it and tailored it in a tiny little bit through the nape of the neck, and then gone through with the same technique through the top to just give us a little bit more of a broken kind of quiff.
Thank you very much for watching our video. Please don't forget to like or subscribe down there, or if you want to see another video straight away, check out some of these.